Have you wondered where to find Jesus in the Old Testament? You've heard people say that. You've read it in Luke chapter 24, where Jesus showed them, the two guys on the road to Emmaus, where he was found in all of those scriptures, which is the Old Testament. If you had wondered about that, this book right here is for you. Check this out on Amazon, my friend. So here it is. This is my new book, See Jesus in the Old Testament. Here, I'll adjust this so you can see more of it right here. But it's out now, and you can get it. It's about 320 pages, my friend. See Jesus in the Old Testament. You can get it in hardback. You can get it in paperback. Here's a little sample, and you can read a little bit of it right now if you wish. Yeah, check it out, my friend. I think you'll enjoy it. So here's you can get a little sample of reading it, right on Amazon, this page right here on Amazon. You can check it out, the first, I think maybe 100 pages. And I think you're going to enjoy it very much, my friend. So here's the chapter layout right here. I don't know if you can see that. Looks like you can. There you are. Yeah. So chapter 1, I'm going to go over like the whole Bible, how important it is to get the whole counsel of God, because a lot of churches aren't preaching and teaching in the Old Testament, but it's very important. Jesus expected us to do that, to look for him in the Old Testament. So chapter 1's about that. Chapter 2 is the law of Moses, the Torah, right? That's how the Jewish Bible is structured. And Jesus put in that order too, because he said the things written about me in the law of Moses, right? The Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Bible written by Moses. And you're going to see it in that order in the book. So we're looking at even like, Genesis 1 in the beginning, the very first word of the Bible. You're going to see Noah as a type of Christ. You're going to see the Christophanies in chapter 6, Melchizedek, Isaac, how he was a type of Christ when he went up the mountain with his father carrying the wood on his back. Huge stuff, guys. Joseph, this is my favorite chapter right here because he is my favorite character in the Bible. And Joseph right here, this is an amazing, amazing chapter. It's a long one because he was a huge picture and type of Jesus Christ, a portrait of him. I mean, think about it. He was rejected and despised by his own, right? He was the father's most favored son. And he was sold for pieces of silver by his brother Judah, came up with that plan. Well, that's where the name Judas derives from. And then later he was falsely accused. They handed him over to the Gentiles. He was falsely accused and he was sent down into that place of the condemned. And it was there that 2 were condemned with him. And he tells them their fate. One is restored to live with the king, right? To serve the king. The other one was cursed to death. It's like the 2 on the cross. And then he was raised up out of that place and brought before the throne, and he was the only one found worthy to reveal God's future plan, just like Jesus is the only one found worthy in Revelation chapter 5 to take the scrolls out of the right hand of he who sits on the throne, right? And when that scroll's opened up, what happens? Those events all take place. Well, in Joseph's story, there was a 7-year time of great harvest, right? And then when that last piece of grain was collected in his storehouses, while his Gentile bride was with him, right? Remember that. Then what happens? All hell breaks loose. There's this famine that covers the whole face of the world. And during that 7-year famine, that 7-year time of great trouble, he rescues and he saves and he forgives his own brethren, the house of Israel, the whole house of Israel saved through one man, Joseph, who had a Gentile bride with him already, and he saves his brethren Israel. They become one family, one huge picture of Jesus, just in that chapter, you guys, right there, the one on Joseph. But we go further. That's just Genesis. And by the way, 1/4 or 25% of the book of Genesis is dedicated to that one man, Joseph. God did that for a reason, my friend. So then it continues, Genesis 49, and we see 2 prophecies, the prophecy of Judah being where the Messiah would come from, and also the prophecy of Joseph is a messianic prophecy as well. You're going to see that in this book. And then you go further on, we see how Moses is a huge type of Christ. Same thing. He was rejected by his own the first time. He had a Gentile bride. And then God suddenly and unexpectedly calls him back to save Israel. And then we see the Passover lamb, of course. We see the tabernacle as the model of Jesus, right? And then we get into the prophets. Joshua in the Jewish Bible is listed as the first prophet. So Yeshua, the same name as Jesus, is listed as the very first prophet. Isn't that amazing? And we're going to see Jesus in Isaiah, of course, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Jonah, he was a type of Christ, right? And then we look at Micah, Jesus's birth, of course, Zechariah, lots of rich, deep stuff in Zechariah. And then we get into the Ketuvim, right? The Ketuvim, which is like the part of the Tanakh, the last part, the writings, which is the Psalms and the writings, as you could see right here. This is how this book is broken down, you guys. And of course, we're going to go into Psalm 22, right? Which is a picture of the cross. We're going to look at Proverbs 30. Oh, that speaks of Jesus big time, you guys. Ruth and Boaz, Daniel, and then it goes into about me, the author, and then a little bit about some other books I wrote. So I think you're going to enjoy this book, you guys. And by the way, if you get it, please leave a review because that helps get it out to the world, my friends. So it's super important that I would love to see it get out to the world. I know you would too. So, hey, this is the book right here. See Jesus in the Old Testament. Please check it out, my friend, if you can. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel right here, The Whole Bible with George Crabb. And click on this playlist right here. You can watch it all for free. How to Find Jesus in the Old Testament. It's the same stuff that's in the book. I think you'll be blessed by it, my friend. I love you. Thank you.